Murder makes a bloody visit to a tree-lined street in Colleyville, Texas.
There's people out here to kill you for $100.
And as you're about to learn, someone killed housekeeper Anita Fox for more than $100. A whole lot more.
When you got there and you realized this is a 72-year-old housekeeper, what were you thinking?
It seemed very odd that she was specifically targeted for some reason that wasn't random.
Targeted, but why?
The motivation for the murder of Miss Fox was greed.
Colleyville police investigators followed the crimson trail of blood, and it led them to a key clue. Anita was known as an English traveler. A traveler is a term for what some have called a highly secretive community, living a nomadic lifestyle, going from town to town, doing odd jobs.
It's an ethnic group, sometimes referred to as gypsies. They typically travel for work. They'll move up north during the summer months and then move back south, Texas, in the warmer climates during the winter months.
Inside the traveler community, there's a dark secret about how some make money. They buy life insurance policies on one another. A family member takes out a policy on another family member, hoping one day to cash in.
In the traveler community, they look at them as investments or a savings account for the family.
And Detective Maddox uncovered the mother of all policies on this sweet grandmom.
There was nearly $5 million of life insurance on a cleaning lady that lived in a camper trailer.
$5 million. 5 million reasons to kill.
She didn't know that there was $5 million on her life.
How did that make you feel? Did that throw up red flags?
Right. That began to give us a motive for the murder was insurance.
Immediate red flag.
Yes, yes.
And red flags were soon flying everywhere. When cops interviewed Anita's son-in-law, Mark Buckland, the husband of Anita's daughter, he said there were no life insurance policies on Anita. Then suddenly, he changed his story.
After that interview ended, we were escorting the family back to their vehicles out in the front of the police department. And Mark Buckland pulled Sergeant Pruitt aside and said, "I wasn't totally honest with you. I have a life insurance policy," and he referred to it as a monster.
A monster that was about to blow the case wide open, exposing the twisted world of insurance payouts and scams.
We started working with Texas Department of Insurance. They were able to pull records and start finding policies, and found a policy that had been transferred ownership.
Detective Maddox says Mark Buckland told them he could no longer afford the $2,800 monthly premium on his mother-in-law's policy. Remember, Anita was in her 70s, and premiums generally rise as one gets older. So without Anita's knowledge, Buckland transferred one of the policies to an Irish traveler, a group where some are known to law enforcement for frauds and scams. The new owner, Patrick Gorman, a man Anita didn't even know. Now, take a close look at Patrick's brother, Gerard, a.k.a. Fat Joe. Look familiar? Fat Joe is a dead ringer for the suspect drawn by the police sketch artist.
It was amazing the work that he did and how accurate that sketch was. It's almost chilling to see Gerard Gorman's driver's license image next to that composite.
Cops then interviewed insurance agent Charles Mercier, who transferred the policy. He says he specializes in selling life insurance to the traveler community. In this audio interview, he said Fat Joe called him repeatedly looking for Anita.
Was there a time when those conversations seemed to get a little more, for lack of a better word, intense, inquisitive on his part to you about her?
Yes. He would call up and he says, "Hey man, where's she living?" I said, "Joe, I got no idea. She lives in Fort Worth, and from what I hear, I think she's living in Al's trailer park."
He's having trouble maintaining his portion of the policy, and kept calling Charles Mercier and asking him, "How long is she going to live? How long is she going to live?"
Did Fat Joe grow too anxious for a hefty payout? Detectives certainly had the motive, they had the suspect, now they had to find him. They computer-enhanced the image of the license plate on that mysterious truck Al's wife Helen photographed.
Sergeant Pruitt finally was able to enhance the image enough that we could read the entire license plate and it was registered to Joe Gorman.
That's Little Joe Gorman, Fat Joe's son.
So you had your suspect.
Right.
Cops brought Little Joe in for questioning.
Your dad's in a lot of trouble. You can help yourself, but your dad's in a lot of trouble.
He said he drove his dad to the murder house supposedly to do a paint job and parked outside.
We just need to know what you know went on in that house.
Like I told you, sir, he came in, he was aggravated. He told me to go home. He had blood on his arm. And I asked him later on what happened. He said that he punched a wall or something.
We have every reason to believe, or we wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, that your dad committed a very, very serious crime. And we have every reason to believe that you were in the truck. I don't believe that you did it, but I believe you were in the truck while it happened. And, you know, God, the truth is, you need to be honest with us.
Faced with the facts, Little Joe caved, telling them his father stalked Anita.
He would finally admit to little pieces at a time, little pieces. And he finally tells us that him and his father drove up from Houston. His father followed Anita Fox around for several days in Cleburne, Joshua area, where Helen and Al had seen him and the pickup truck.
Cops tracked down Fat Joe at a budget motel outside Houston, and when they entered his room, they found a shocking sight. Their prime suspect is dead. You heard right. Fat Joe suffered a massive heart attack, his lifeless body lying on the motel bed. Yes, there would finally be justice for the sweet, caring Anita Fox, and it may have never happened without her son spotting that truck.
If not for this photo that you and your wife took of that truck, what could have happened?
I heard men that have been detectives most of their life tell me that they may have got away.
They could have gotten away with murder
Sure.
of your mother.
Little Joe Gorman didn't actually commit the murder, but since he drove the truck, he pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder. He was sentenced to 14 years in prison. In court, Al screamed, "I'm here to welcome you to your hell."
What'd you get off your chest? What do you feel like you said?
You know, one of the things that I do remember that I got off my chest, you know, him, his dad, their uncles, and different people, they're unfit to even hear what kind of person my mother was. I was able to tell Joe Gorman, or Little Joe, that I forgave him. But it wasn't for him. It was for me. It was to cut that chain of hate, because I didn't want to drag him around the rest of my life and let it eat me up.
I'm Chris Hansen. If you like this story, make sure you tune in every day to Crime Watch Daily. You can find where the show airs in your city at crimewatchdaily.com. Watch it live or record it on your DVR and watch it at night. And to all those criminals out there, remember, we are watching.